Bastards! Today, I want to talk about something that is not very commonly spoken about in the prepper community, not in a widespread variety, I would say, and that is fire safety. Uh, Fire safety and prevention is very important for preppers. It may not seem like the biggest threat there is, but it actually is, especially when your main strategy is bugging in. So that's a big risk. And I know it's maybe not as exciting as self defense, home defense, or stockpiling, but imagine this: what do you have to defend or to stockpile when it goes all up in flames? So think about that. Even in a self defense case, when somebody throws a Molotov off in your window, what are you gonna do? So fire risk and prevention, very important factors to keep in your preparedness plan. All right. First of all, I'm going to firstly talk about the most important things that everyone should have in their houses, like EDC, Home Edition. And in my opinion, these are the most important things you always need to keep in your home. First of all, uh, a fire extinguisher. I know, just a simple one. Um, Everyone should have this in their home uh, because it can put out most flames, even flames that are above somewhere in the ceiling or something. This could take it out. Always aim for the base of the flame when you try to put it out, and keep it always in front of you so you don't get some of the CO2 inside of you. So uh, learn how to use it. Read the instructions that are written on it. They are printed on the side, and especially look, especially what kind of fires you can put out with it, because there are certain types of fires you cannot get out with an certain extinguishers. So learn how to use it. Have always one in your home. I would always advise to keep at least two in your home. One in your main area, like where the fires could start, like a kitchen, which is a very risky place. And the second is in your bathroom, because when there is fire, because of some reason, shortage or something, and you need to get out of your house, you can at least try to make a safe way out of your house through some fire if you keep one in your bedroom. So, very important to keep a fire extinguisher in your preparedness plan. The next thing I would say that everyone needs is a fire blanket. Why? Because, like I said, with a fire extinguisher, you cannot put all the flames out. So it's very important to have something for chemical, oil, or fuel fires. You can put this on the chemical, oil, or wet fires, and it will take it will prevent oxygen to reach it, so the flame will dove out. Um, like I said before, look at the printed on how to use it. With this, you just pull it and throw it on the. You put it on the blanket. Not throw it actually, because when you throw it, you have chance that it will not cover it whole or you miss. So keep it in front and put it over the whole fire, just to make sure you don't have to give it a second try. This is especially when you're cooking. Handy when you're cooking. Keep this always in your kitchen, in case you are cooking with oil that might catch flame, and put it on. Don't use water, don't use extinguisher for that one. So keep it in your kitchen, and in case of an emergency, you can use this for put it around your body and get through a hallway where there's a fire to get out of the house safely. Um, yeah, so that's a fire blanket. Next thing everyone should have in their house is burn cream or burn gel. Because yeah, the first rule, of course, when you get burned is water first water, and the rest comes later. So when you have a burning wound, always keep your the part that is burnt for 10 minutes under medium warm water. It must be running water. Uh, would I say medium water? Because when you are burnt and you suddenly put cold water on it, the tissue can start to react because of the sudden cold, and it can rupture even more. So it's better to cool it off with medium warm water instead of hot or very cold water. So burning gel, very important. I would suggest to take a big, how do you say this? A big package of burn gel. Why? Because you never know when you need it, and you don't know how big the burning wood can be. You perhaps have a family that's also get burnt in the fire, so you can treat them as well. Or when there is a fire in your neighborhood, you can help them by applying this to their wounds. So, of course, after using water. All right. Next, most very important is this is just a smoke detector. Um, Everyone normally it's obligate to have in your house, but I would say it again: keep this in your house. Keep this in the main areas, so you don't get surprised of or get monoxide poisoning while you're sleeping. So this will give you early warning when there is something burning that shouldn't be burning. So fire alarm, I mean smoke detector, very important. All right, those are the things I would address to get first in your house. And now we are going to the second parts. The second parts, these are, I would say, something you some preventive measurements. The first of all is have a plan. Uh, what do I mean by that? Uh, have a plan with your family, like when there is a fire, you can say, oh, when you can do some fire drills or make some appointments, like, oh, when there is a fire, you are going to call the fire department, and you are going to do this and do this, and you will get the children out, and you will take care of the pets, and that way, I the evacuation out of the burning building will be more safer and smoother and faster, which is very important for surviving. All right. Second part is discipline. What do I mean by that? Uh, when you just to keep yourself disciplined to not forget to leave the stove on, to discipline to make campfire or cooking fires when you barbecue in your garden or something, that you don't do something stupid like keeping like alcohol or fuel next to the barbecue so it doesn't catch fire, or the burning pieces cannot fly to something that can burn next to your house or onto your house. So very important to keep discipline. Also, another piece of advice for discipline is like just small things like candles. Keep candles away from burning materials like curtains. Just put candles out whenever you're going to leave the house. Don't always watch out that you don't slap a candle away into the floor or something burning. And the last thing is things like smoking, because it's very underestimated. People who smoke and throw the cigarette away, it can have big consequences. Is what I try to say about that. So have discipline, think, look at your surroundings, be alert. That's actually the first preventive rule you have. All right. The next things I'm going to show are not really that necessarily, but these are things you can put in your preparedness for fires, not only in your home, but also at work or at your company or somewhere else that you don't want to people get burned to death. So, all right, the first thing I would advise is just keep something that you always need, like your cell phone. When you're going to sleep, keep your cell phone on your nightstands, because when there's a fire downstairs and you always leave your cell phone downstairs, you cannot call the fire department. So that could be an issue. So always keep your cell phone close to you. If you're going to stay long in a certain room, especially when you're going to sleep, keep it in your bedroom, charged. So very important. Next, I would say just keep something like your wallet and your car keys in a way always in the same place, because when there is a fire that you cannot extinguish, you don't want to look for your car keys or your wallet uh, when you try to leave the house. So make it a habit to always, when you come home, leave your car keys and your wallet and your perhaps your cell phone too, always in the same place, like in the middle of a table, next to the door, or and a certain key hanger, perhaps. So think about that when you make it a habit of it. Make it like a discipline thing. All right. Next, a bug out bag. It's when you have to leave your house. You probably, when your house is burning and you have to leave it because you cannot extinguish it yourself, there will be probably damage, and you cannot live there for till the insurance company or the fire department says that it's safe to live in there again, or till it's repaired. So you will probably have to live with family, friends, or perhaps a hotel or something. So I would suggest to keep your bug out bag ready, like you would normally do in your bug out for bug out situation plans, or just always have a bug out bag ready. um, Look at my video for bug out bags and you see what you probably will need for a bug out situation. But I want to address something very specific. Um this is a microchip with pictures of all the documents, like insurance, bank, deeds of the house, um, so all the necessary papers that might get burnt inside of the fire. So uh, keep everything on a chip, keep it in your bug out bag. So when you have to leave the house, you can just take it on your shoulder and run out of it. So you don't have to go out of your way to look for it. So bug out bag with a chip with your personal information, very important if you want to fasten things up in the aftermath of a fire. All right, those were the most important things. Now we're going to more gadgets. Not really gadgets, but things that could help, but are not that necessarily. Where shall we start? Uh, this will not be in a certain order because I just gather the things around. And who is to say what is more important than the others? These are just all tools that might get handy in a fire in your home or at your work. First of all, uh, just folding shovel, a trench tool. Why? Because sometimes there is no water, or it's been a dry summer, and that's where most fires will be starting. Uh, so you can dig dirt up, put it in a bucket, and throw it at the fire in an attempt to extinguish it. So a shovel to throw dirt at the fire, very handy when there is no water or your extinguisher doesn't work. So that's an alternative way to um, extinguish a fire. Or when you have no way to put the fire out, like with a fire blanket, like those fires, wet fire, it can help. Next, if these are not old or broken by the cold yet, this can be handy when you to take in your fire preparedness at your work, like in an office building. Why? Because when there is smoke, you can make a chem light with this and throw it at the exit. So other people, even in the dark, when perhaps the electricity doesn't work because it got broken by the fire, or when there's too much smoke, they can follow these bright lights to the exit, and you help other people on the way. And for the same thing, it can help fire crew, firemen, to get into the building and take this as a direction reference. So chem lights at your work could be handy in office buildings. Uh, yeah. Just a blanket. This is my woolen blanket, but this can serve when you don't have a fire blanket. This can make this wet and put it on the fire, so the oxygen will be cut off from a wet fire. Or when you need to escape from a building, uh, just make this wet, keep it around you, and you can get through flames or close to flames to escape the building, so you don't get burned too much, which can be a lifesaver for some people. So a blanket, make it wet, and throw it on the fire or keep it around you so you don't get burned by the radiation heat. All right. I will start the first tier down. This is just something for my preparedness plans for chemical or nuclear preparedness. This is to normally to wash off dirty particles, but I also use it for gardening or in case when there's a fire, because you do not always, perhaps your fire hose is broken, or your fire hose, garden hose is broken. You don't have a garden hose that is long enough. You can fill these, take it inside of outside where the fire is, and you can start spraying the fire with pressurized water. Um it's perhaps not effective against large fires, but it's a way. It's like a manual extinguisher if you think about it. So, just some idea to think about in your fire preparedness. Um, and you can also use it for, like I said, for other things, garden, nuclear chemical spills or something, or just as an improvised shower on camping. Who knows? Have many uses, especially because it's not electric. It's just like a pump that you put pressure in, and the water gets pressed to the nozzle. So not really a waste when you buy one of these sprayers. Next, just always keep some water in your house in case the water supply doesn't work that well, or you have a burning wound and, like I said, the water doesn't work. You can throw it. You can try to extinguish small fires with it, or you can use it to cool down burning wounds. So just keep always a stash of water inside of your house. Next, this is something I'm experimenting with, because I have no idea if it's that effective, but some people advise this to me. This is an oxygen tank. This could perhaps work at helpful at work, like in an office building when there is too much smoke and the fire prevents you to go on lower areas. This little canister weighs nothing, and it's filled with 15 liters of compressed pure oxygen. By the label, it says it's 100 times for 2-second breaths, but perhaps when there is smoke and you cannot breathe, perhaps it's that time that you need till the rescue crews or the firemen reach you and can help you, like with ladders or something else. So this could be a lifesaver. It's just simple to use. Put it down your mouth, and it's perhaps buy you some valuable seconds or minutes in a smoky building. So just one thing to be very careful about this, because oxygen is very flammable. So don't use this in contact with direct flames, but only use it in areas where it's smoky and damaging for the lungs, and there is no real place to breathe freely. So this could be some valuable lifesavers. Also handy because when you get out of the building and there are people cutting the smoke, you can apply some oxygen to help them breathe better, and they have more chance to survive aftermath. Because even when you survive, when you got out of a burning building, always go to the hospital, because a certain percentage of people die because they inhaled smoke, and it will kill them later on suddenly. So be careful for that. All right. Next, when you have like valuables or something, I would advise to store them in something that doesn't burn that quickly. There's just a simple ammo cage. Like you can put whatever, jewels, money, perhaps your gold or something, or some important papers inside of such a box. There's different heights where you can even put bigger papers in. So that way, when you evacuate your home, your valuables don't get burned directly. Perhaps they can still be saved within a reasonable time before even this will get too hot and burn everything inside. So most people like the word say a fire. We call it the brandkast. We will call it in English. It's the safe for fire. So just buy a safe or something and put your valuables into that, and don't tell about it because people or burglars or criminals will figure it out and they will try to rob you. So get a safe for either your valuables to not be stolen and not to be burned. So very important. The next thing around this, you've probably seen this in my video about how do you say this? Flooding. It is a collapsible telescopic ladder. Why would you need this? You would ask. Well, because perhaps there is still somebody in your home or in a building that you didn't know about, or perhaps your neighbor's house got fired and you need to help them out of a window. It's very difficult to move around a large ladder on its own. So, or perhaps one of those collapsible ladders. They are still high, but not high enough to reach a second floor. This thing, telescopic ladder, will still reach how much meter was it again? 3.5, 3.6 meters high. So perhaps you can save your neighbor or somebody else who is still in your building or your home out of there safely and move freely about it, because when your neighbor is hanging out of the window trying to get air and he cannot escape, it's hard to get around, how do we say this, a hedge or perhaps a wall with a big ladder. So this could be very helpful for that. So just something to think about. All right, now we are at the bucket. Well, first of all, this is a gas mask, but not just a gas mask, but it's a gas mask with monoxide filtering. Why would you need that? Because when you can, how do you say this? This will filter out monoxide, especially, and I would say keep it in your workplace, keep it in your under your bed or somewhere in your bedroom. So in case when there is a fire and everything starts to fill with smoke, you can put this on and you can guide and or save other people on the way. You have better visibility because your eyes don't get hurt by the smoke. You have less chance for a monoxide poisoning, but it will not make you invincible. So be careful about when you think to use this, but it can help you escape out of a burning building, especially with the smoke. All right. What's next in the bucket? This is just a climbing rope. This would be more applied when you have a second floor, or perhaps you work in a office building with more floors. What you can do is just be aware when you purchase a climbing rope, make sure it works well, because it's tend to used by the weight it was meant to. So read the instructions and about the strength. Also watch out that it's not being used too much, so there is no wear or tearing that will snap, because that would be very bad. And on the end, I would advise to put some how do you say this, carabiner hooks on it. So when you keep this in your working place in a building, office building or higher or second floor like your bedroom, you can take this out, hook it around some heavy object like a closet, a bed or something, tie it together with the carabiner hooks, throw the rope out of the window, and you can try to climb out of it. Like I said, be sure that it can carry your weight. And I know this will take my weight because I pulled my car out of a ditch with this rope, so it's strong enough to carry one person. Right, next in the bucket. Gloves. especially I would say working gloves in a office building, especially or some other place where there are doors. Why? Because many people underestimate how warm a fire can get. Because perhaps there is a piece of burning wood blocking the entrance. Perhaps the doorknobs are heated up from the inside where the fire is. This is something that happens a lot, and that is when people try to evacuate out of a burning building, and they just touch the door handle and they get their hand burned because it got warmed up because it's made of iron, and the fire on the other side heated it up without you noticing it. So that's what I would say. Keep some gloves to protect your hands, to perhaps get some burning pieces of wood or other hot things out of the way without causing too much damage. So some gloves, very handy, safety beyond everything. Uh, what's next in the bucket? Shamak. You normally would carry this in your EDC or bug out bag. So, like I said, it's the same with the fire blanket. Just you can make it wet, put it around your body, or you can make it wet, put it over a fire, or in a worst case scenario, actually it wouldn't do that much, but every little piece of protection is better than nothing. Like put it around your mouth so you don't get too much smoke inside of it. You will still get monoxide poisoning, but at least dust and smoke particles will be filtered to a certain extent out of your lungs, so you have more chance to survive the aftermath. Right, next in the bucket, the headlights. Yeah, you can put it around your head when there is a smoky building, the electricity fell out, and you still have both your hands to use it. So headlight can be very handy in that case. Always keep it in your workplace, and next to your in your bedroom. Right. Next, these are actually three things that could be applied for the same thing. First of all, a hammer. Why would you use this during a fire? Well, just a claw hammer has many uses. Like you can break a window, tear off the little piece of glass on the side, and you can make an emergency exit for your children or your colleagues, and help them escape. The next thing is to bash in on a door. A door might be locked, and it will be your only exit out of the building. So when you try to smash open a door, you either hit the hinges so they break and you can pull the door out or push it in, or you can hit right next to when this is the lock, right next to the lock, so that will eventually break after enough hitting. Or the next thing, the claw, you can use it like a crowbar and pry a door open. So just a hammer can be a life-saving tool in a fire. The same thing actually applies. Like you can put this in your perhaps a drawer in your at your work. Just a little crowbar, small enough to open the most some smaller doors that are not fortified. So could be handy even for smashing in a window and break the little pieces of glass on the side. So that could be just a little tool. And the next thing, just uh, an axe. An axe says you can break perhaps the door open with the other side, like with the blunt part. Bash open the door. You can break a window, or you can break through a wooden frame of a wall to make an emergency exit, or bashing through a wooden door, all Shining style, or like Here's Johnny style, with just the export. So could be a life-saving tool. And the last part, no, previous last part, I would say, just a bucket. Like I said before, perhaps your garden hose doesn't reach that much, but you still need to extinguish the fire with perhaps water. Fill it with water. Fill it with dirt from with a shovel, and fill it up and throw it on the fire to help it. So a bucket, you can use this for many things. So it's never a waste to have this inside of your house. All right. I think that's about it for measurements or preventive actions or tools that could help. Here's the last tool. This can be a little bit grim, I know, but this is the, how do you say this? The dog tags with your name on it. In case when you die during a fire and your body gets all charcoaly, at least you can be identified and your family will not live. How do you say this? Will not keep living in a disarray, because they know what happened to you and they can get closure. So this can be very handy in that case, even if it's grim. So I know, bad ending, but just trying to survive, be prepared, and you can and prevent a lot of bigger problems afterwards. All right. I hope you learned something from this. I hope it will help you someday when you take these measurements into your preparedness plans. Thank you for watching. React if I forgot something, or if you got a tip that I didn't mention. Um, Subscribe and such things. So bye. See you next video.